Happy New Year. Hope you're all well. Okay, son.
Hi.
You've finished watching Mr. Bean in there, have you? Right.
Yeah, my back too.
Oh, okay. You going in, son? You going in the house with your mum? Oh no. Be good. Right, in case you're wondering what I'm doing, when I go back into work, I've got to run an archway, and it's going to be like a run off a gig stick. So you find the springing line of the archway where it starts from. You find the springing line where it's even, and then you set a gig stick up, so a piece of wood that's going to run off another piece of wood, and it's going to swing like this, and it's going to have a profile that's going to cut the shape of the archway into the plaster to form the archway. Now, at the bottom of the gig stick, it's got to attach to the other piece of metal, but it's got to do it in such a way you can't put a screw through it, because as you're turning it, it'll be tightening and loosening. So, and you want to be able to lift it off and get it out the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this old saw for a piece of metal because I haven't got any other metal knocking around. So I'm going to cut this saw up. I'm going to cut this little rectangle out of this piece of metal. I've drawn it on, I don't know if you can see it or not. It's a little rectangle. I'm going to cut a V in the bottom of it. And then when I put the piece of timber across the spring line, I can put a screw in it. And this little metal profile will be attached to the other piece of wood, and that little V will just sit on top of the screw. This will be protruding past the bottom of the gig stick, and it'll just sit on the screw there, and that way I can place it on the screw, run it, and lift it off. So that's what that's for. Obviously, you have to cut the head of the screw off because you won't be able to lift it off past the head of the screw because it'll be stuck in the plaster at that end. So you just slide it off the bottom end off here, just slip it off, and you can pick it out of the way, clean it, and then put it back in and use it again, you know. In case that's what I'm doing with this bit. So I'm going to cut this piece first, and then after this is cut and sorted, then I'll see if we can get the profile. I've got loads of these. I've never throw old saws away. I always keep them because they're handy for just, you know, little bits of metal. Rather than going buying sheet metal for your profiles, you can just use these. They're just a bit more harder to work with than zinc, but a lot cheaper. Tell you what happens. My little lad comes in here, right? He's only 2. He gets the little step ladders out of here, and he's up there, and he gets me tools off there and flipping scatters them all over the house and all over the garden. So, yeah, and you want to just go and put your hand on something, it's not there. You're like, where the hell's that gone? nearly there. We just need to cut the V out there, and then drill some holes in there. See where the centre line is? We just put a few holes in there, and that's where the screws then will attach it to a piece of roof batten or something like that, you know, an off-cut of wood. Oh, the exciting bit is all my flipping all my batteries, my cord, the screw guns in the van, and I can't be asked going to the van to go and get them. I don't know if you can hear it on there, but it's lashing down outside. So I'm just gonna what have I got? The only plug-in drill I've got, I think, is angle drill, so this will do. Only need 3 holes. I reckon 3 holes will be plenty. Tell you what we'll do. I'll get these holes drilled and file this down a little bit just to make the edges so there's no sharp edges on it, and then we'll have a little chat. I'll go in there and we can just chill out for a little bit, because I'll be honest with you, I can't really be arsed. Still feel a bit knackered from being ill. I've been sleeping, I'm not even joking, about 18 hours a day since I come back from holiday. I've literally just been sleeping. My sleeping pattern's all out of sync. I'm awake at like 3, 4 in the morning, and I'm sleeping through the day, which is a bit crap, but anyway, such is life. Where's this one going? Get it unplugged. Come on. Where is it? Where will that live? Please don't tell me it's in the van. Of course. Of course it's in the van. Of course it is. Nearly done. Nearly done. I'm going to put one more hole at the bottom here. So for anyone that's just joined and doesn't know what the hell I'm doing here, we're just cutting this little piece of metal because it's going to sit at the bottom of the gig stick for running an archway in plaster around an arched window. And that, there's going to be a piece of wood across the spring line of the window, and the gig stick, this is going to be screwed to the bottom of the gig stick, and you can adjust the height. You see, then you can get it just perfect because you can just take the screws in and out. You haven't got to rely on cutting the wood to the right length or trying to screw the profile on. You can just adjust the height of this, and then that'll just sit on the head of the screw and twist with the gig stick when you're cutting the mold, if that makes sense. All quite boring stuff really, but someone's got to do it at some point, haven't they? I haven't seen anywhere where you can just buy this sort of stuff. And I did have, you only need one of these. Once you've got one, they last. But if you've got a crazy apprentice that just likes to bin things out your van because he doesn't recognise them, he just slings them, then you end up without them. The two prongs right at the very end of that don't need to be sharp. You can literally cut them off there, you know. And my old fella always used to say it's a lot safer to have them cut off there because obviously they're sharp and they could stab someone. But when it's attached to the gig stick, have you seen the fellas like, and they go hunting in the sea with the big prongs? It's like one of those. And I think it's better to leave them on because if anybody upsets you, you can just, you know, you can go after them with it. So I'm going to leave them on. We do need a file though. And I did have one just sat here last time I checked. Not having much joy. I know what we'll have to do. We'll just make a temporary one. Right, there's that bit done. Oh, how are we all doing anyway? Oh. Dee -dee -dee -dee. Who have we got here? Don Boris. Hi Kirk, happy new year, buddy. Cheers, Don. The Wandering Mason, how you doing, mate? LCH. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook. I think you'll have like a few skeleton sons. Fair play, mate. Happy new year, Kirk, from Rob's Woodworking. Cheers, mate. TT, how's it going? Craig Meadow, what we making, Kirk? Oh, sure you know by now. Matt Lawton. I haven't watched for a bit, mate. To be fair, I haven't been on for over a month. I went on holiday at the start of December, and then I got ill, and then I ended up in hospital. So never been to hospital before. That was my first time. Hate seeing grinders out the garden. I know. Flipping pain in the ass, aren't I? TT. Picture of concentration, man grinder. Let's see. That's it. Craig Meadow knows. Let's just get to the. Let's just get to the last comments. There we go. Calvin, how we going, Calvin? Sunny Red Devil, job's good. Well, it'll do. It's not a thing of beauty, but it'll work. Poopot, happy new year, Kirk. God bless. Hope you and the family have had a good one. Cheers, my mate. TMG, happy new year. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Happy new year to you guys as well. Jack Green, hi. What a plaster to use for a bathroom. Well, look, everybody whinges about using any type of thistle plaster will deteriorate in water, right? So if you wanted to sort of go old school and sand and cement the walls and just tile onto the sand and cement, if you wanted to, you know, get down with the new stuff, just plaster it, use anything you want, and then go and get a showerproof kit from Mapai. They sell them in Screwfix. You can get an Ardex showerproof kit there cheaper. You can get it from any tile shop, and basically once you paint that on before you tile, any area will just be completely waterproof. I mean, what they did in the tile shop to demonstrate how good this is, the cardboard box that the kit comes in, just a solid cardboard box like this, they showerproofed the inside of it and then filled it up with water and just left it on the counter, just to show you that, you know, when it's just been sat there for the last 3 or 4 years, they just top it up with water, and it just to demonstrate how well the kit works. So I personally, in my bathroom, I've literally just used bonding coat and skimmed it. Well, I haven't skimmed it yet, but I'm going to when I get round to it, and then I'll just showerproof the wet areas, so it'll be fine, you know. That's what I'll do, mate. But, you know, there's other fellas, there's other experts that'll pop up in the comment section that'll tell me I'm wrong and you should do it a different way. But what have we got here now? Trev tried. Happy New Year. Quick question on out-of-date plaster. Can it be used? Yeah, I've used out-of-date plaster in the past, especially during COVID, because the only things we could get were like leftover bags of plaster from all over the place. Two things. So I'll tell you how I would use out-of-date plaster if I had to use it now. This is how I was doing it in COVID. Because what it'll do is one or two things. It'll either set really fast or take forever to go off, and it's not very nice to use. It sort of loses its creaminess. So what we were tending to do was use it for your first coat, and then if you get some nice gear, second coat with the nicer stuff, and that way you can use the first coat to, you know, build out, get over all the thickness, the imperfections in the wall, and then the second coat's your nice coat that you trowel up, and it's not too bad to use. But ultimately, it's, you know, if you can get fresh stuff, if it's just the case of going to the shop and buying one bag of plaster, I mean, it's a tenner. It'll make your life so much easier. And if you're a beginner, then I definitely don't recommend using it. But you can do it, you know. It's just not nice. Jimmy's Workshop, greeting from Cork. Happy New Year. Cheers, Jimmy. Anne Daly, I think, need to clean out all those full beer cans, empty them for the recycling bin. Yeah, tell me about it. How's it going, Craig? Craig Meadow, artisan. Shut up, Kirk. Artisan cars. Happy New Year. Exactly 12 months ago, I had pneumonia. Yeah, it wasn't fun, mate. Happy New Year. Cheers for the great info. No worries, Jack. Elliot. Do you know what's flipping? My eyesight's going to tell me what we say here. Elliot Delisle Longlios. Big fan from Quebec. Happy New Year. Cheers. I'm just going to call you Elliot. It's just easier to say. I can't pronounce your other names that well. Cheers, Elliot. Matt Lawton. Bonding doesn't go bad. Yeah. I have had it flash set on in the past, like, but it was really old. So, Scott Never, hi Kirk, thoughts on spray plaster? Happy New Year. Spraying plaster on internally with finish. With our finish, I don't think it's worthwhile doing. With the finish that we use, board finish, multi-finish. I think the guys over in Germany, where it stays wet a lot longer and you can put a lot more on, I think it's worthwhile using a machine, using their gear. But I wouldn't say it's worthwhile doing for board finish or multi-finish. I can see the advantages of spraying the back coat on if you could pump on the hard wall or bonding coat or dry coat or whatever you're using, just because there's that much stuff going on the wall. It just saves time. Externally, I see the benefits for scraped render. I was going to buy a spray machine. The only reason I didn't is because they're very expensive, and then I've got to have somewhere to put it, which I haven't got. Well, I have actually, but Long story, we won't even go down that. I've got a garage, but it's full to the roof, so let's just forget about that. And then obviously, because the cost of it, you'd want to be using it every day to make it pay for itself. And then it's how much rendering do you want to do. But I am looking at potentially getting a little spray machine for thin coat render, just because of the amount of these thin coat jobs that I have to do for the firm that I subcontract for. I do these little hop systems, and they're like quick extensions on the back of your house, and the cement board on the outside. So ideally, it's better to put a thin coat system on them, and I hand apply it, and it's a pain in the ass hand applying thin coat when you've only got you and the apprentice, because the apprentice sometimes isn't the best person to have rubbing up, and then he's also not the best person to have laying on. So I end up doing everything, which is fine a lot of the time, but it's just a bit tedious. So I'm thinking of getting a spray machine, because you don't have to rub it up. The sprayed finish, that's the finish of it. So anyway, let's crack on. Burger place. Hi mate, which render is compatible with solid brick walls? Okay, so for external render, I mean for solid brick walls, all of them, every type of render will be compatible with solid brick walls, mate. You just got to use the right. So when I say that, let's just say like thin coat now. Let's just say you're gonna put a thin coat render on. You couldn't just go and get a tub of thin coat and apply it straight to the brick. You've got to use the whole system. So you've got to follow their step-by-step system with the base coat, the floating coat, the primer, and the top coat. You know, you can't just skip any steps, but any system will work with brick, mate. Matt Lawton, Kirk, is that what you had? Pneumonia? Yes, mate. Yeah. I went to Tenerife at the start of December to go and surprise my mother and father-in-law. So my missus's mum and dad, they're out there. They go out there quite a bit, and they'd gone out for his birthday. The father-in-law, the old bean, it was his birthday, so they're out there anyway. And then I said to my missus, so we just surprise them. So they were out there for 2 weeks, and we just thought, as soon as they flew out, I said to my missus, let's just go out and surprise them. So we just booked straight away, and we went out about 4 or 5 days later, and I was fantastic for the first 4 or 5 days. I was fine, and then I lost my appetite. Didn't feel hungry whatsoever. I thought I was just a bit hungover, to be honest with you, because I felt really tired and lethargic, bit headachy, bit sick, couldn't eat. And I was starting to get a bit of a cough. The next day, still coughing, still couldn't eat, and I was going the toilet quite a lot as well, you know. It was just flying out. Sorry for the graphic description, but you get the gist of it. Every hour I was on the loo, coughing. Felt good in myself. On the flight on the way home, it was a night flight, right? So 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm literally coughing every 30 seconds for 4 hours on the flight home. Like literally every 30 seconds, I'm coughing the head off. So there was people tutting. I'm like, don't tut me. I don't want to, you know, what do you want me to do? I'm not enjoying coffee. So, but anyway, as soon as we got back to the UK, and I got off the plane, and the cold air, I breathed it in. It was like, I don't know, it was nice because it was cold air, but the coughing just went worse then. Long story short, got back home, got into bed, couldn't breathe. I felt like I couldn't breathe, like I was taking gasps of air in, but I felt like I was drowning, like I couldn't get any oxygen in. So I spent the rest of the night sat up downstairs because I felt like I could breathe better being sat up. Sat up downstairs with the living room window open, trying to get air in. Next morning, I said to her, because I really didn't feel too great by that point, said to my missus, phone the doctors, I need to go and see the doctor. Now, if you know anything about me, you know I don't like Western medicine at all. I flipping hate it. I never really go to hospital, and I don't go to the doctors ever. They're always sending me little things and checkups. I just never go. I just don't trust them. Okay, I'll be honest with you, I just don't trust them. I don't like the fact that you go to the doctors and they get you on tablets, and as soon as they've got the little hook on you, they just medicate the life out of you. Because
ultimately, the med schools are basically funded by the pharmaceutical companies, and it's in their best interest to get customers. It's not in their best interest to heal you and get you better with ailments. It's just keep maintaining your treatments. As long as they can keep you alive and keep selling flipping pills, then they're happy. Is my opinion. It's just my opinion. I think we've got fantastic accidents and emergency. You know, if you're in a car crash, you break your leg or whatever, you've been, you know, you cut yourself open or you need an operation, fantastic. But I just don't like the medication that they get you on. So that's my view. Only my view. Not pushing it on you. My wife's got different views. You know, the family don't agree with me. Just my personal view. So I never go. But I was that rough that I said to her, "Get me the doctors. I need to have something. Something's not right." And after speaking to the doctor on the phone, they organised from what we were telling them about, you know, couldn't get me breath, felt like I was, you know, going lightheaded and stuff because I couldn't breathe probably. They just sent an ambulance, and then the ambulance come and they give me a nebulizer in the back of the ambulance, which it's like a little liquid that they put in an oxygen mask. So you see people in the ambulance with the oxygen mask on, but they put a little liquid in the bottom of it. And as soon as they give me that, it just, I just felt like I could get a real breath. You know, I was like, great. So anyway, then I was in hospital. I think 5 days, 4 nights, 5 days that I spent in there. The first 2 days, I was on like a stretcher in the corridors. Because the corridors now, they're like wards in Chester Hospital anyway. I don't know what it's like in other hospitals, but they say that the NHS is that overrun, that they now use the corridors as wards. So you've got a row of beds down one side of the corridor with a nurse sat at the end of it. And now they do a fantastic job, the nurses, fair play to them, because are that busy, but they've got one sat down there, there's one coming up and down checking on you. You know, they don't miss you out. And to be fair, when you're in A&E, you know, you've got people coming in smashed out the brains on all sorts of chemicals or whatever they have these days, you know, because it definitely isn't cocaine, whatever they're taking. I had zombies in the corridor with me. It was bizarre. And then there's like dementia patients, and they've got flipping this one woman, she had a what's the name, a cannula in her arm, but kept forgetting and getting up and just trying to walk off. And they were rounding them up. I'll tell you something interesting as well about being on the corridors, something that inspired me. It was like this old boy gave me the will to fight. You know, I felt like, go on. But I'll come back to that now. I was in the corridors for 2 days, and then they put me to a little unit where I was on my own in a room for a day, and then I went to another ward full of old boys, just all old fellas. That was great up there, but I was only up there for about 5 hours, and then they whisked me off, and I spent another 2 days with a load of women. They took me to like a women's ward, which was bizarre. And I wasn't happy. I said to them, look, you can't leave me here. And I think at first, the fellas that had wheeled me down there, like the porters or whatever you call them, I think they thought that I was being funny. Like, you know, I was complaining because I'm not, you know, I'm a man. I don't want to be with a load of women. But it wasn't that. I was more concerned about the women, because where I'd been previously on the other wards, there was people needing bedpans, you know, there was old boys, like the legs weren't working, so they had to go to the toilet in the bed. So they're pulling the curtain round them and they're lifting them up, and, you know, they're taking a number 2 where they are. And that's all I'd seen on the corridor. On the wards was a lot of people, you know, having to use the toilet where they were, getting changed where they were, getting the gout. And I just thought to myself, I know that the women aren't going to like the fact that there's a bloke here going, if they're in that situation. My grandma wouldn't like to have to take a crap with some young fella next to her, you know, in the bed next to her. Even though there's a curtain round, it's still, you know, because you're still going to get a smell on it. It's just not nice. So I was more concerned about them. And I said to them, look, you can't leave me here with a load of women, but you don't have a choice. So that's where I was. So I just kept my curtain around me for 2 days, and flipping heck, some of the yapping they were doing. Nurse, I want this. Nurse, I want a cup of tea. I was just like, you're not in a hotel. These people aren't here to serve you. They're here to get you better. But I don't know. Anyway, let me tell you about whilst I was on the corridor, right? So I'm lying in my little cot, I can hardly breathe. I've got my little nebulizer thing on. They've got an oxygen bottle next to me. I'm just lying in my little cot with an oxygen mask on, getting nebulized. Pretty much most of the time that I'm on the corridor, I've got this little thing on, just lying there breathing. I'm watching what's going on. I'm half asleep most of the time, but I'm watching what's going on because it's quite interesting. You've got all sorts of lunatics coming in and out. And they wheel this old boy past me, right? So this old boy's come past. Now, what they always do is when they come and do the observations on you, especially the old people, I think they test them for dementia. They ask them very, very simple questions like, what's your name? How old are you? What day is it today? Where are you from? What did you do for work? You know, they ask them all these basic questions, but they ask them over and over again, the same questions, which is a bit patronising. But anyway, they've got to do it. They've got to make sure they're getting the right person for the right medicines, haven't they? So this old boy's getting wheeled past me. And as he's gone past, I just give him a little thumbs up, right? Just being friendly. And he just glared at me, right? Fair enough. So I don't know if he's, you know, maybe he has lost his mind. I don't know. But then they wheeled him off into the side room to get him changed, which was just next to me. And they pulled the curtain round, and I can hear what they're saying in there. And it turns out his name's Gordon. And they change him. He's 90 years old, right? And this boy was in the army, and he's come out, and then he's been a copper. He's been a policeman in Liverpool, and he lives in Chester, right? So I hope I'm not giving too much of his information away. But anyway, the reason I'm telling you this is because I'm listening to him. He's very well spoken, very stern, very polite. But you know, he's an old school gentleman, very by the book, straight laced type of fella. You know, he comes back out and they put him on the corridor, and he's directly in front of me, right? So I can see the top of this fella's head. When I'm lying there, I'm just looking down. I can just see him right in front of me. And after about an hour, he's in his gown with his blanket on him. He puts his hand up. He's like that, his little hand frail like this. And the nurse comes up, this male nurse. What's up, Gordon? He said, I need to go to the toilet. He said, right. He said, okay, Gordon. He said, well, we've changed you. He said, and you've got a pad. You've got a pad on now, you know, underneath you. So you can just go to the toilet. He said, right, okay. He said, I need to go to the toilet. He said, yeah, look. So he showed him, he gets Gordon's hand and he puts it, he said, feel that pad. He said, that's waterproof, mate. He said, you can just go to the toilet when you feel like where you are, just let it go. And Gordon's like, you know, he's thinking for him and he goes, no, I want to go to the toilet. So the nurse says to him, look, Gordon, he said, your legs aren't working too well. You've collapsed. He said, we can't let you go to the toilet. You need to go. Basically, we haven't got the staff to sort you. Just go to the loo. As soon as you've let it go, we'll take you in the side room. You let us know. We'll take you in the side room and we'll change you. And he just went, so you want me to shit myself? And he said, well, yeah, just let us know the minute you've done it. We'll clean you up, clean you all down, bring you back out. And that's what they said to him. That was the first time I've ever heard anyone tell someone that that's the protocol, right? So I'm lying there and I'm thinking, that's not very nice. I'm glad I've got my little oxygen mask on. But I felt sorry for the old fella, you know, being told that. Anyway, fast forward. About 10 minutes later, the nurse is gone. And I seen this Gordon. He's in a lying down position. He's about 15 degrees up. And I just seen him doing a sit up like this. He's just sitting up in the bed. His little head shaking like this. You know, he's 90 years old, just sitting up. And then he collapsed back down again. He got about 45 degrees and just dropped back down. And I thought, oh, any minute now he's going to just let it go, isn't he? No. Next minute, both arms were up like that. And he's got hold of the side of his little flipping stretcher and he's just pulling himself up. And he pulls himself up, spins round and puts his feet on the floor. And he's just getting his bearings, looking up and down. So he looks at me. So I'm in my mind. I'm like, go on. Yeah, I'm not saying it, but I'm just thinking it. And he looked at me. So I'm like that with my little mask on. I took the mask down. I went, like that to him, you know, good on you, mate. You know, he's a fighter. Another nurse comes over, a female. She's like, where are you going, Gordon? He said, I'm going to the toilet. And then the male nurse come back over, the one that told him to just do it in his knickers, like, he come back over. And they said, yeah, he's not going to do what we want him to do. So wait there, we'll get you the wheelchair. They get a chair, they take him off. Anyway, so he's gone. He's gone for about 20 minutes. Now I understand now because there's no staff now on the corridor. By now, Wendy with the flipping cannula in, she's up, she's gone. She's disappeared off somewhere in the hospital because to take Gordon to Lou, there's 2 nurses gone missing now and there's no one to look after everybody else. So anyway, they've brought him back though. And on his way back, he's in the wheelchair. And as he come past me, he didn't say a word, but he looked at me and went, like that. I was like, yes, that's the fighting spirit. This fella. Now, the way I felt, honestly, the way I felt when I went in there, if someone just said to me, Kirk, if you need a piss, just let it rip, I would have just let it rip because I just felt that rough. But seeing that old boy, 90 years of age, he was determined he was not going to go in the bed. He was going to go to the toilet. And I just thought, that is that generation. It doesn't, you know, he's collapsed. He's smashed the side of his head in. He's 90 years old. You know, he's disorientated, but he wasn't going to drop his standards. And I just, he just inspired me. I keep thinking of him, and I'm just thinking, you know, I'd like to go back in and see if he's all right or if he's gone home. But anyway, right, sorry, that's my little, enough stories for me now. That's my little story I was going to tell you. Flipping heck, there's been quite a few. If you ever done me, Plaster. Sorry, I'm just trying to. I'm going to get back to the beginning of these comments and then blitz through them quick. Right. Poopot forgot to ask, are you still doing BJJ? No, my knee is knackered because I snapped the ACL. I was meant to have the operation as well. The week that I come out of hospital, I was meant to have the operation. Phone up, told them I'd just been in for pneumonia, and they said I've got to do another pre-op assessment. So that's getting put back. So my operation's getting put back now, probably to the end of January. So no, I haven't had my knee fixed, hence not doing any BJJ. But I have started trimming down since I did my hospital stint. I basically did a 5-day fast because I didn't eat nothing for like 5 days. So that kick-started me into thinking, okay, I may as well shed the fat now and get myself back into a bit of better shape. Colby Humphrey, have you ever done any Venetian plaster? Any chance after the vid? I have, mate, but I didn't record it. If I ever get the chance to do it again, then I'll definitely record it and make a video. Dino, cheers, mate. Matt Lawton, a lot of people are getting it. I know, that's all my Facebook's full of people with pneumonia or chest infections. Rich Stainland, how you doing, Rich? TT, treat the symptoms, not the cause. That's exactly what I believe they do, mate. Antique Crystal Ball, Kirk, why would you use hard wall when I can use 5-1 sand and cement? The latter must be much cheaper. Yes. The main reason that people use hard wall as opposed to sand and cement is speed. So whereas your sand and cement, you've got to put it on and then give it the rest of that day, the day after, and you can skim it the day after that, and then it takes ages to dry out. When you use hard wall in the morning, skim it in the afternoon. So it's just a matter of speed. That's the only reason. I would imagine that people choose to use it over sand and cement. The other problem with hard wall is, well, not a problem, but one of the cons with it is you can't use it on old buildings, you know, anywhere where there's any moisture presence, any solid 9-inch walls. It's no good because it's gypsum based, isn't it? So sand and cement is still the better option in some cases, in my opinion. I have to say that now because people think that once I said one thing, that's, you know, that I'm saying that that's the best way of doing it. It's only my opinion. And as well, Another thing that I should mention, when I make little videos, little shorts, little TikTok videos, Facebook videos, and I show different things that I'm doing, it doesn't necessarily mean that that one thing that I've made the video on is my hard, fast go-to every single job. You know, I may do something one way, one job, and a completely different way on a different job. It's just, I would rather make videos and show you lots of different ways of doing the same thing, because then if you're a beginner and you learn all these different ways, the more ways you know how to do something, then you can apply, okay, well, that's going to be easier in that situation because we've got to work around this or this. So I hope that makes sense. It does in my brain. Matt Lawton. I don't go to the doctors either. I cut my arm with a chainsaw grinder. Wheel banged some alcohol, gel in it, wrapped it up, called it cut. Yeah, I'd probably go for like things like that, like chainsaw holes in me. I'd probably go for, Matt, but I get where you're coming from. Poo Pot, you need to get a humidifier, Kirky, and always use a mask when mixing up. Yeah, probably a good shout, mate, to be fair. Yeah, burger place, that's an extreme map flipping, isn't it, just? Right, these guys are just chatting to each other for a minute. Let's have a look. Jimmy Newman show. Nice one, Jimmy. Jack out green. Matt Lawn, I had rusty nail in me and all sorts. Right, someone's message has been held for review. Let's have a look what it is. Jack Green, you want me to shoot myself? That's hilarious. Yeah, that's basically what he said. Yeah, he sort of broke his politeness and just said it in like a state of shock. It's like, so you want me to shit myself? Driggable plum. Am I saying that right? Driggable plum. That's terrible, mate. It is inhumane. Yeah. That's my initial thoughts when I was listening to what they were saying, but I understand the reasoning behind it. You know, if they're overrun, there's people that have got dementia that are literally trying to escape. You know, they've got alcoholics that are getting out of, you know, they're bladdered and they're sort of harassing other patients that aren't. Literally, it was nuts. It was exciting for me. I was being entertained. I seen a few things that I thought were unjust, not by the nurses and the staff, but by patients to other patients. You know, you've got people in there that are bladdered, asking old age pensioners, have you got money? You know, can I have some money for the taxi? You know, like, what the hell? You know, and then obviously you need the staff there to be able to deal with people like that, not two staff in a toilet, because they can't send, when someone's legs aren't working, they can't send one member of staff to the toilet with them, because if they fall over and hurt themselves, then they're in trouble, aren't they? Because the staff will get sued by the family. You know, imagine, let's just say, for instance, because I was speaking to the staff a little bit about this. Let's just say, for instance, they took Gordon to the toilet, one member of staff. Gordon, whilst he's trying to get onto the toilet, collapses and smashes his head off the toilet and dies. Then the hospital can get sued by Gordon's family because they haven't followed procedure, because they've let him go to the toilet with one member of staff and he's hit his head and died because of that. So then two members of staff have to go with him, but then there's no members of staff looking after all the other patients. You start to understand it. I'm not saying it's right, but I just understood it, you know. But I did like the fact that Gordon wasn't going to give in either. So, where are we going now? Katie Gnomes. Hey, that was a wonderful story. I'm going to start training to be a nurse in September. Katie, they need you, so the sooner you get going, the better. Just be prepared to be busy. Poo pot, that's degrading. I mean, how long does it take to take some of the toilet versus cleaning all the mess up after? And I know, I get it, but what they were saying was it only takes one person to clean him up, not two, whereas it takes two members of staff to take someone to the toilet. If they can't walk, you know. But I know what you say. I mean, I'm trying to think of my grandma, you know. I'd be like, horrified if that's what they were telling her to do. Go where you are, you know. Interesting story. Drigbull Plum. Yeah. Jack Green, get on the keto. We'll drop it, mate. I've actually been having a little stab at the carnivore diet for the last week, to be honest with you, mate. Sasha, what made you start BJJ? I tell you what made me start BJJ. I've always boxed right through from when I was a kid. My default for sort of keeping myself in shape would just go to the boxing gym. Not because I want to be a great boxer or anything like that, although I don't, you know, I'm not bad at it and I like sparring. But it was for the fitness aspect, not because I was ever, you know, I was never going to be good. I haven't got the skill to become pro. I'm more of a flipping brawler rather than a boxer, you know. But for the fitness side of it, it's fantastic. But I know what's involved with the gym that I go to. I know how Carl likes to train people to get fit, and it just involves lots of burpees and lots of running and lots of sparring, which is fine. But when my son was born, I took about 6 months out of training just to be with my missus, because we got a load of kids and I wanted to spend time with her, and that's when I started the YouTube channel. And then after that, after I'd sort of spent 6 months with her, I put a bit of weight on that, and I thought I need to get back in shape again. And just the thought of going back and doing like 200 burpees 3 nights a week, I just didn't fancy it. So I thought, for the change, I'll go and do some BJJ. I've never done it before, but I thought, you know, I'm quite competent stood up boxing, but maybe I should try a bit of ground fighting, because, you know, if you ever get attacked or you ever end up in a situation where someone's fighting, a lot of the times you do end up on the floor. So I thought maybe it'd be good to know how to, you know, to be capable in that situation. So I went to Next Generation, you know, Paddy the Baddy, the same gym that he trains in, the sister gym to that. There's one in Liverpool where Paddy the Baddy goes. Never met the kid. I'm not interested in him in this. Like, it wasn't the reason I went there. It's just when I went there, everyone said, "Oh, Paddy the Baddy trains with this gym." Like, wonderful. Anyway, Next Generation Gym in Birkenhead. That's where I started going. Fantastic. Everyone in there, all lovely, lovely guys, salt of the earth fellas, all dead helpful. The fatal mistake I made was taking my brother-in-law with me, right? So I've learned this the hard way. You're better off, they call it rolling, which is like their sparring, right? So I'll just compare it to boxing, sparring. You're better off sparring, right? So this applies with all contact sports, especially boxing. If you're going to spar with someone, you're better off sparring with the best boxer in the gym rather than a new guy. And it's the same with BJJ. What I've learned, you're better off rolling with the best person in the gym, not the newcomers. So I took my brother-in-law there, newcomer. Now, the reason being, let's just say I'm quite experienced in the boxing gym. If a new guy come, then I would lower the tempo down when we're sparring to his pace, and I wouldn't try and knock him out in sparring, you know, because he's new to this. So you just work them in slowly, you know, and take it down to their level. Whereas an inexperienced guy fighting another experienced guy is chaos, because they're both going to try and kill each other. So I've brought my brother-in-law along, and I'm rolling with him, and he's going, you know, he's trying to rip my arms and legs off me. And I've ended up with a flipping snapped ACL. So that's how that happened. So there you go. Lesson learned. Matt Lawton. The only thing I went to hospital for is a smashed arm, but that was still doesn't work now. Flipping heck. Right. Cont. I don't know what that name is. I can't read that. I think you've just typed that out in your pocket. I made a full media wall after watching loads of your videos with zero experience. People say it looks amazing, but I want to take it off and start again. Thanks, mate. Save me a fortune. Yeah, spot on. If it's only the finish you don't like, you can re-skim it. So just seal it all with SPR. Bead it up and skim it again. Obviously, if you want to change the shape of the boxes or whatever, then you'll have to take it off and start again. But Sean O'Donnell or Sean O'Donnell, evening Kirk, good to see you back on the live chat. All the best for 25. Cheers, my mate. Thank you very much. Jimmy's Building Services, Happy New Year, mate. Thank you. Right, someone else's message is held for review. Whenever you put a swear word in the chat, it holds your message for the review. So just so you understand, if you swear, then I can't always see your message. J Cha, Happy New Year, shows your tits. I think you're on the wrong live, mate. I don't know when your mum's on. I think she's on later, mate. Mr. Mineral, love the vids, mate, but it's all about you. Seem like a probable, likable guy. Yeah, mate, if I knew about you, I could talk about you, but the only person I know about, the only thing I know all about is me. If you want to ask questions about plastering, though, I'm more than happy to answer them, mate. I was just filling everyone in because I haven't been on for about a month. I was just letting everyone know what's been going on. Burger place, how far down south would you work? I'll be honest with you, mate. Being 100% honest with you, I'm sort of not really looking for work at the minute. What I tend to do now is just look for jobs to make the content, to make the YouTube videos with. And then I want to sort of do specific types of jobs. So I'm not really... I mean, if it was an interesting job, then I'm happy to go anywhere. I mean, I've been to Switzerland. That's the furthest job I've been to do. I'm happy to go anywhere, but not if it's the same old, you know. So if it's something that I could do on my doorstep to make a good video, it's not really worth me traveling to London, say, you know. Dan 721. You've probably heard this by now, but it needs to be said that you're a great storyteller. Cheers, mate. It's what the missus says as well. When I come out of excuses why I haven't come home from the pub, all the stories come out then. Also, the floor looked like Crosby Beach when you did your media wall. Yeah, that's the only downside of when you're beginning to plaster. You flipping drop loads of it, don't you? When I learned to plaster, I wasn't allowed to sit in the back of. I wasn't allowed to sit in the front of my dad's van. I had to be in the back of the transit because he's got OCDs and everything has to be immaculate. And because I didn't want to get changed in the dead of winter, you know, in the rain outside into clean clothes. And I just decided I'm not getting changed anymore to get in the van to just drive home to then have to get changed again after I've had a shower. You know, getting changed like 6 times a day is just a pain in the backside. So I just sat in the back of the van, covered in plaster. EBS Interiors. I've just started sourcing my own work in. I'm 22, trying to get a more consistent workload. How do you source your work? So it's interesting, this, mate. There's a few ways of doing it, but after a while, your reputation goes before you. But I understand the point that you're at. I know the bit that you're at. I've been there. I did a lot of building site work, and I come off the site till I was about the same age as you, and then I started generating work for myself, for the public. And my dad always said to me, you should never need to advertise, Kirk. If you need to advertise, you're not good enough. But the thing is, that's all well and good if people know who you are. But if no one's ever heard of you, then how's the phone going to ring? So this is what I did, but it's not what I do now. What I did was, originally, I went and made a load of flyers myself, printed them off, and I literally walked around and posted them through letterboxes. And then I'd take my missus out with me, and we'd both go like canvassing posting through letterboxes and speaking to builders. You know, if I've seen jobs going on, I'd chat to the builders. That's when I was a young fella. Now there's far more efficient ways of bringing work in. You can get yourself listed on Google, and you can put posts out on Facebook. Facebook is a fantastic tool for bringing work in, mainly because your perfect target customer are on Facebook. Okay, so the likes of Instagram, Snapchat, all these different sites, they're no good. TikTok. Now, there's a few reasons that all the other sites are no good and Facebook's a lot better. One of them is because they're not location specific. So TikTok, you can put all your work on TikTok, but you've got people in Scotland and London seeing your videos at the same time. That's no good for you. Right? You want people in your area. Facebook gives you that option because you can post into groups in Facebook. Okay, so Facebook's perfect for this. Also, you got to think, who are your best customers? I know that the people that are going to mess you around, the people that aren't going to cause you any hassle, and they're going to be easy to work for, are people in their 40s to like 70s, yeah? That sort of age group, like my parents' generation, people in the 60s, for a few reasons. When people are starting out in life and they're young, they haven't got much spare money, okay? So a lot of the times they want cheap jobs. So, you know, young couples, early 20s, early 30s maybe, just bought their first house, massive mortgage payments, they've got kids, massive money going on the kids, they've got a holiday to book, or get the bedroom plastered, or try and do both. You know, if we can get the bedroom done for £100, we can go on holiday. You know, the money's tight. So when people get to my parents' age, you know, the kids have left home, they're getting close to retirement, they're financially secure by now, they've got savings, you know, they've probably inherited money. These people that are in the 50s and 60s, they've had cheap jobs in the past, they've got money now, and now they don't want a cheap job. Now they want to have a good job, and they don't mind paying for good quality. That being known, where are these people? My mum isn't on Snapchat and Instagram. My mum and her friends are on Facebook. So that's the correct people that you want to be marketing to. Now, little little bump in here for you. Me pitching myself. I've got a sales and marketing course to show you specifically how to do fantastic posts on Facebook that will generate work for you. It's not about trying to ram your plastering work down people's throats on Facebook, because people aren't interested in plastering, don't want to know about it, and your views will go down and people won't interact with you, and then Facebook's algorithm will hold you back, and when you do a post, it'll only get shown to a few people. So I'll show you how to hack the system so that you do posts that people engage with and you get thousands of views, and then when you put your plastering stuff out there, thousands of people see it, and it brings in a lot more work. So I've got a course that will show you how to do that, and also show you how to rank the highest in your area on Google for the Google business section, not for a website. Forget websites. A lot of the time, people click a website and that little wheel of death starts spinning and you're gone. They just click off anyway. And who wants to go on? I mean, if I want a florist, I don't look for florists near me and then start clicking on websites. I just literally look which is the closest on Google Maps that's got 5 stars, and they'll do. And it's the same with tradesmen. So I can show you how to get to the top ranking position for your area on Google. Like I say, I'm not trying to sell you, I'm just letting you know. You've had quite a few tips there, mate. Google and Facebook are a great start for you. David Smith, can I put billions aside for carbon capture, but can't fund? Can put billions aside for carbon capture, but can't fund hospitals? I know, mate. It's sad. Ross Abley, all right. Love watching the videos from Chester myself. Sure, I seen you in Broughton a few months back. You probably did, mate. You probably did. Should have said hello, Ross. Driggable Plum 69. Thanks for responding to my comment. Cheers. Mate, I try and respond to everyone's comments. I just fall behind sometimes. So, Matt Lawton, Kirk, hope you get well quick, mate. Cheers, Matt Poopot. Right, I sort of understand the poo gate situation now. Yeah. Right, you with the name that I can't read with the media wall. It's so ironic that you're a plasterer and your office is cladded. Mate, this is the exact reason that it's cladded. Do you think for 1 minute I want to come back in here and start plastering? And can you imagine? Because it's a timber framed outside this building, it's timber framed. People think this is like a little garden shed, but it's a proper, you know, I've got a solid concrete floor, I've got a nice big workshop, it's a proper construction. I just like log cabins, so I went with burnt pallet wood basically, just because I like the look of it. But can you imagine me coming in here, and because it's timber, it's, you know, slightly contracted and there's a crack in the ceiling line, it would knock me sick having to look at it. So I just thought to myself, no plaster. There's not going to be any plaster in here whatsoever. And what I like about it, because it's timber, I can literally screw anything anywhere I want. You know, I want more sockets, no problem. Just screw more. Oh, wait there, turn that light off for you. If I want more sockets, I just screw more onto the wall. You know, anything I want, I just fix it on. Not a problem at all. So that's why, yeah. Let's switch that light back around so you can see me. And then you've also said, okay, mate, thanks. The soundbar part was really tight. Couldn't get it in, so just covered the bead. I see what you're saying. Artisan cars, I've sent you a text message. Okay, mate. As soon as I finish this, I'll take a look. If you sent it a few, like, I get most days it's quieting down a little bit through December, but most days I'll get on average, I don't know, 5 or 6 text messages, about 30 Facebook messages. Who knows with emails? I can't even count them. Instagram messages, TikTok messages. I get overwhelmed with it. I genuinely do get over. I can't read them all. If I'll spend I can't even reply to them, because what happens is, a lot of times someone sends you a message and you reply to it, and then they start sending you more like correspondence. That's, you know, someone says, "Oh, Kirk, da 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 da," and then you text back, "Oh yeah, sound, thanks, mate." And then they text back, "No problem," and it's just like, my phone's just like pinging with just like, I know it sounds ruthless, and I like talking to people, but when there's like 100 people talking to you at once all day, and I'm busy anyway, I'm trying to get stuff done, and my missus is texting me every single hour because I haven't replied to her, and so I get overwhelmed with them sometimes, and I don't get back to everybody. So if you've sent a message a few days ago, mate, chances are it's right down the list and I won't see it. So just send me a little bumper message just so you're back at the top again, and I'll put your name, Artisan Cars, on it, and I'll get back to you, mate. All right. Burger place. When plastering, I always have a fear of applying the start thin and ended up too thick at the end of the stroke. How do you manage a consistent thickness? Well, don't forget, it's very hard to put it on too thick because it'll sag, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. It'll just feel natural to put it on the right thickness. But that's why you're also going to trowel the wall up. You know, you're going to go out, you're going to flatten it in. You know, 2 coats of plaster, you're probably best off, if you're a beginner, giving it a first coat, then flattening in, and then giving it a second coat with some fresh stuff, and then flattening in, and then giving it 2 wet trowels and a polish. So you're going over it quite a lot. So if it is uneven, because you've put it on uneven, you're going to then go over it a few times and smooth it out. So I wouldn't worry about that too much, mate. Smeagol, Happy New Year. Cheers, my mate. Okay, the one with the name that I can't read. I've got a question. You say waiting for it to pull in. What's pull in? Okay, so when you apply plaster, it's wet to the touch. Okay. Now you don't want to start going over it. See, an experienced plasterer will put on enough plaster that by the time he's got right round to where he started from, say I'm going to plaster this room, I'd start with that wall, then I go clockwise, I do that wall, that wall, that wall, that wall, that wall, the reveals, and then back to this wall. And by the time I get back round, it's ready to go on again. You know, the plaster is firm enough, it's set enough to start going again. You know, it's not completely set, but it's firmed up a bit, right? It's pulled in. So if you're a beginner and you only do one wall, chances are you've put your first coat on, it's still going to be soaking wet. You don't want to start putting your second coat on until the plaster is firmed up, until the plaster is pulled in a little bit. That's the term pulled in. It comes from, the term probably comes from, I'm assuming this, when you're going onto old backgrounds, the moisture is drawn out the first coat a little bit by the background, the moisture's pulled in to the wall. That's probably where the term comes from. I could be wrong, but that's what I've always thought. No one's ever confirmed it, but that's what I've always thought. So, but that's what the term means. When I say it, I mean when the plaster's firmed up a little bit. And daily, is there much of a difference between skim coat and bonding coat? There seems to be loads of different bags of plaster to choose from. Okay, Anne. So it'd be good if you had a pen and paper for this, because I'll just go through them all quickly. So if you've got a pen and paper and you can make a note of this, or if you've got a good memory, or make a note of how far into the live we are so that you can skip back to it if you forget, okay? But when you go to the likes of B&Q, let's just say that's where you're going to go. Back coat plasters made by British Gypsum. Don't worry about all the other stuff because they have Dial or whatever. There's all sorts of different brands. Just stay with British Gypsum stuff. That's what plasterers predominantly use. We don't use anything else really. All the stuff by British Gypsum. British Gypsum have basically got 3 back coat plasters now. They use dry coat, they've got bonding coat, and they've got hard wall. Dry coat is what you use when you've got damp backgrounds or solid 9-inch walls, okay? You can use dry coat there. That's a back coat plaster. You've got hard wall and bonding coat. Now these are very similar, but the difference being bonding coat is used for low suction backgrounds. So if you need to go on plasterboard, or if you wanted to fill out on a wall that you've put the sealer on, the PVA or the SBR, that becomes a low suction background, you would use bonding coat. If you've got a high suction background, like brick, you know, you've knocked all the plaster off the walls and it's a brick wall, and you want to put a gypsum back coat plaster on, then you can use hard wall. Hard wall is for high suction backgrounds, bonding coat is for low suction backgrounds. Now what's interesting is, I've said this loads of times, and there's loads of lunatics that say things in the comments, and I'm like, no, it's not. Like, you can use bonding coat. I'm like, listen, just read the back of the bag. Just read the back of the bag. It tells you. Now, then, so that's they're your back coat plasters, and then you've got your top coat plasters. So you've got then a board finish or multi-finish, and in Ireland they've got another finishing plaster, but I'm not in Ireland, so I've only got board finish and multi-finish. Now, originally board finish was just for plasterboards and multi-finish was for everything else, but I've always used board finish. The main reason being because when I worked on the building sites, we could pinch it. So we'd do our private work with board finish. You know, we'd get a little job on the weekend and we'd just pinch, you know, 4 or 5 bags, 6 bags off the building sites, throw them in the van, and we'd use that, save buying it, you know, it'd save a few quid. So I just got used to using board finish at everything. But since then, British Gypsum, if you look on the back of a bag of board finish, have now stated that you can use board finish for everything anyway. So the difference between them, multi-finish stays wet a bit longer, okay? So you got your 3 base coats and your 2 top coats. Now, they do little bags of all sorts of finishing plasters and back coat plasters and stuff. Forget all them. Just it's not even worth your time messing around because there's not enough in the bag anyway. So just stick with your 25 kilogram bags, and you got 5 to choose from. Okay. Hope that clears it up a little bit. Katie Gnomes, how about doing a full render on an igloo in the Antarctic? Yeah, sound. Yeah, flipping. Oh, someone's still drunk from last night. That sounds of it, Katie. Right, you with a name that I can't read. My daughter changed my username. Sound. Right, it would make it a lot easier on the lives if you changed it back to something that I could say. Or just tell me your name. I've got quite a good memory, so I'll remember if you tell me your name. Arts and Cars. I'm involved with a charity, and I would love to know if you're interested in helping out once they are getting the downstairs accommodation for the walls being skimmed. Yeah, I'm happy to help out. Depends what the charity is and if it's something that I'm aligned with. So just let me know. Let me know, mate. Katie again. You can also make a little website to promote your work. There's some cheap website building providers, so it doesn't have to be expensive. To be fair, Katie, I don't really need a... So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, Katie, with websites. One, people don't really ever click on them. As much as... You imagine if you wanted to promote something, right? And you just show up in people's news feeds on Facebook. Like, I can show my work to generate. I don't put my videos on to try and get more work on YouTube or Facebook or anything. In fact, that's why I called my channel On the Trowel and didn't really have my contact details readily available, because I didn't want people to start asking me for work, requesting me to do jobs. I don't mind every now and then. It's not a big issue, but I don't need the work. Where I am, I get enough work. People inquiring as it is. And as I said to you, I'm trying to sort of put it down. You know, I'm not trying to do more work. I'm trying to do less and make more content instead. But anyway, websites. Trying to get traffic to your website is very difficult. Unless your website's really fast and people click on it, then it's not really neither here nor there, because people just click off as soon as the wheel of death starts spinning. What would people want to see on the website? You know, ultimately, your reviews can all be fake. Your pictures can all be fake. Whereas if you put videos online on the likes of Facebook and YouTube and on your Google business profile on Google search, you can actually put videos of yourself so people know it's you that's doing the work. And those things on Facebook show up in people's news feeds that are your friends or in your area or in groups anyway. So I just think social media is... I just wouldn't waste the money on a website, ultimately. I know there's people out there that do them and they do a great job. And for certain things, a website's probably fantastic, you know. If I was going to go and have like me teeth done in Turkey, I'd probably want to click the website and have a good read and a good research. But for a plasterer, you know, they just want to know who you are. Are you a nice fella? Do they feel comfortable with you in their home? Can they see a couple of reviews online to make sure you're not crap? Can they see some of your work? There you go. Job's a good one. The guy with the name I can't read. I'm a window cleaner. I clean the local road signs. Didn't say I'm available, etc. Just posted. Generated so much work. 25k plus people seeing it. Took me 5 minutes. Fantastic. Fantastic, mate. Have you ever done physical courses? No, not yet. But we are looking at potentially doing not so much a course. Not so much a course. I wouldn't say I'm going to do a physical plastering course, because just being 100% honest with you, to call it a course and people think that they're going to come and learn to plaster in a week and be a plasterer at the end of it, I personally don't think that's going to be possible. I would say, you know, a plasterer needs about a year at least of skimming to be able to say that they can do skimming, you know. I mean, an apprenticeship, I served like 6 years with my dad, so I would say, you know, to be very competent at plastering, you're going to need to do at least 3 years apprenticeship. So I'm not going to do a course as such, but I'm potentially looking at partnering up with a very nice fella that pops on these lives, and I'm thinking of doing this year. This will probably happen this year, of doing a plastering experience where you come and spend a day with me, and whatever level you're at, you know, we can work on a few little techniques to improve them. You can just sort of say what you're looking to improve, and we just work on that for a day. But it'll just be an experience more so, and then it might be, you know, just an opportunity to come and have a laugh. we'll maybe do some plastering, go out have something to eat, or go to the pub afterwards, or something like that. I don't know, but it'll be something along those lines. It'll be more of a sort of, I'd imagine, like a day, maybe like a weekend thing, like a 2-day thing, where you come on the Saturday, we do some plastering, we go out for a meal, have a few beers, do some more plastering the next day, and then you just bugger off to where you come from, you know. We're potentially looking at doing something like that, but I need to pull my finger out and get in touch with the guy that I'm looking at partnering up with, because he's got the facilities to do it, and I would be borrowing his facilities. So we'll see. We'll just see how we get on with that. But as of yet, no. EBS Interiors, Wicked Advice Chairs, not a problem, mate. Pleasure. Frankie Ball, how you doing, Frankie? Happy New Year, Kirk. Here's to another year spreading with the walls, spreading them walls, mate. Cheers, mate. Ross Abley, I will do next time, pal. Got to say, your K-Ren system has made my work so much better. It's where it's hard to go wrong. Thanks a lot, mate. Pleasure, mate. I'm glad the band system's working nice for you. Craig Meadows, sorry, mate. Yeah, okay, Craig. M-Dubs, Kirk, you remind me of Brutus from Popeye. That's what my missus says when she's over the shoulder getting carried up the stairs. Martin Broster, how you doing, mate? Oh, we are. The guy with the name that I can't pronounce. Thank you for the tip, mate. Appreciate that. Thank you for that very much. That'll buy me a nice cold pint when I'm not doing my carnivore diet. You're a gentleman. Zarkos Flow. All right, mate. You're the only plasterer worth their weight on this site. Quick question, though. Go on, fire away, mate. Before you get your question, though, someone else has popped in. Martin Broster. Hi, Kirk. P plus decorator here. Love your videos because I love learning anything to do with something that I can do in my own home, as I have a physical job too. Do you ever think about your later years? Yes, but this this platform, YouTube, has actually provided me a little bit of a different avenue to go down now, to be honest with you, mate. Because I would recommend it. I mean, recording what you do and posting it online is not difficult. I'm literally on my phone talking to you now. It's all done just on my phone. So, I mean, granted, I have got a laptop here that I do my editing on now, just because trying to do it on the phone is too difficult. But YouTube, once you've got so far into the game with it, you can monetize it. So YouTube pay me. Granted, I have to keep making content. But YouTube, then you can post on TikTok, they pay you. You can post it on Facebook. Once you get to a certain threshold, they pay you. So you sort of get to a point where you're getting paid for being on social media, which is fantastic, you know. And it gives me the opportunity now to not have to charge my customers when I go to do jobs. You know, not every single job, but if I want to help someone, if I want to go and do a job, I can just go and do it, you know, for free. So that's a good thing because I can help other people. I make a video and I get paid. So you guys get to watch the video. I get to help somebody out and get paid for the video, and the other person gets to get the free job. So it's a win-win-win situation for everyone. So it's fantastic. I think everybody should do it. It's so easy to do. If you know, just practice talking on camera, and then off the back of that, I've managed to start launch my own product, the Pink SPR. So I'm thinking if that carries on the way it's going, then that's potentially going to be my sort of retirement, because I haven't got any pensions or anything. You know, I've got basically, I was going to just work till I'm dead, which I probably will do anyway, just because I like working. So that's me plan anyway. But it's nice to have a few little extra sources of income, you know. For now, whilst it lasts, who knows what happens next, you know. Who knows what will happen a year down the road, you never know, do you? Right. Zarkus Flow, where's the question? I think, anyway. Just jumped on Checker Trade after 7 years experience. Have you got any experience with their different packages? No. No. I don't like, I'll be honest with you, mate, I don't think any tradesman should be fleeced by, this sounds harsh saying this, office workers. So you've got nerds, right? In the nicest sense, I'm a plastering nerd, so I mean it in a nice way. You've got nerds that have never done a hard day's graft in their life. They've just done that on computers, and they've made a website and they know how to drive traffic to it. And now they're taking money off you for you to get work. Okay, so I don't like the thought of a nerd making money off me, and I'm the man doing the product. I'm the one that has to go out there, do the hard days graft to make the work, and then this nerd here has made a website that I've got to go to get work and pay him for it. I don't think that that's fair. There's enough people taking money out of the working man without extra ones getting it, and then they hold all of your reviews on that website, so it's not even like you're building reviews up or a presence anywhere else online. You're held on their site. I don't like it. My Builder, Checker Trade, there's loads of them. I'll go as far as saying I hate them, because not only, so here's a bit more advice for you, not only do you get charged, but customers use them like a price comparison site. They're going to go on there and get 3 quotes. I mean, I don't even want to work for the people that want the cheapest job. But anyone that's going on a site that's looking for quotes, you've got to pay to be able to look at the quotes, to be able to give a quote, sorry. You've got to pay them. They might not even want the job doing. You could have a 20-year-old kid sat in a flat somewhere thinking, oh, I know, I might get the kid's bedroom plastered. I wonder how much that'll cost. Puts it in on Checker Trade or whatever. I want my bedroom plastered such and such size. And 3 fellas come along and say, I'll do it for 150, I'll do it for 300, I'll do it for 4. And then she doesn't even want the job done. She's gone, okay, that's how much it cost. You've had to pay for it. Flipping nuts. So I don't like them for that reason. As I've already mentioned, and I won't go into it again, but if you want to hit me up, you feel more than welcome. My email's in the channel description. I've got a course where I show people how to generate work from Google and Facebook for free. It doesn't cost you. I mean, my little course costs you. You're going to pay me £1 a day for every day you're in it. You know, £1 a day to be in the course. You can leave whenever you want, and you can watch all the videos in 1 week if you want, or 1 day if you've got a good memory, and you can just go off, and then you'll never have to use Checker Trade or My Builder or any of that nonsense ever again and pay them money. And then all of your reviews you want for yourself, where people can click on you and see your reviews. They're not held to ransom by a company that could double or triple their prices at whim. You know, you're paying, I don't know, £10 a lead now for a job. They could charge you £50 for every job. And if you don't do it, because all your work comes from Checker Trade, you're snookered, aren't you? You're stuck, you've got to pay it. It's not good. Them sort of sites aren't good, mate, you know. But I understand while you're on it, I understand if you haven't got work, but I would start seriously looking at other ways of getting working. Anyway, sound dead down and depressing, don't I? Sorry. Anthony Broom, do you think an old sod should get back in the game? Anthony, my honest opinion is, if you want to, yes. But here's what I'll do. I've made so much more money in the past doing little jobs rather than big jobs. I would rather go and do some patching and plaster bathroom ceilings, and that's, if you're older, that's all I'd focus on. And that's where the better money is. You can go and plaster someone's living room, right? And they're going to want it done for 400, 500, 600, 700 quid, right? And it's going to be a hard graft for you to do it. You know, 2 good days or a one wild day of working hard, right? Or you can go and plaster someone's bathroom ceiling, little ceiling, 150 quid. Go and do a little patch where there's a hole in the wall, another 150 quid. Use half-time accelerator on both of them. 2 little farty jobs. You've done 300 quid. And you've used not even a bag of plaster and not broke a sweat. That's where I'd focus my energies on. If you're older, on just doing little patching jobs, you know, maybe patching up after double glazing companies, that sort of stuff. If you couldn't get your own working, you could do that. Just light work, you know, but only if you fancy it, because it's hard graft, isn't it? So I wouldn't get into house bashing or anything like that, you know. Oh, there we go. Chris, the guy with the funny name's called Chris. Right, Chris. I'm falling behind in the comments here. I'm aware that there's lots of comments and I'm quite far behind. So I'm going to just do quick one-word answers or quick answers and just get through the list quick as we can. Right, the charity is a disability equality Northwest based in Preston. Yeah, okay. I'll be interested in helping out. Not a problem. I might only be able to give you a day or two, just because I've got a lot of other commitments. But to my wife mainly, I've got to spend more time with the family. But yeah, I'd be happy to definitely come and do something with you, mate. Not a problem. Pod Save England. How much of that plaster and fat do you take off after you're done second coat and you're finishing? Do you always get fat? Is this what you want? Usually, let's just say I put 3 bags of plaster on. I would probably get enough fat off the wall, maybe to fill my hand like that, level at the top. That's about it. It's not necessary to take it off. It doesn't really matter. It's just what comes off when you're troweling with a little bit of water. You know, you can spread it back into the wall, but it just leaves like white marks on the wall. So I always just wipe it on the bucket. Chris, I asked about the physical course just because with your videos, all the prep, do's and don'ts are great. Then when I come to actually plastering, the skill aspect let me down. Yeah, well, mate, I will probably be doing something this year. I need to confirm it with the guy that have got me plans set around, and then you'll definitely hear about it because I'll announce. It'll be all over the internet. And if you want to come down and spend the weekend with me, mate, then you're more than welcome. Mr. Dubs, lol, good man, all the best. Cheers, mate. Frankie Ball, Kirk, have you finished the bathroom? Still waiting for the next vid. Well, enjoyed the first vid. My missus keeps banging on about it as well, so I'm asking for her. My missus keeps banging on about it as well. That's all I'll say. We haven't got any further yet. I had all intentions of doing it over Christmas, but obviously with me sleeping like 18 hours a day these days, then I haven't really had the energy to do it. You sound like Anne Daly. Anne Daly, you sound like what a golfing pro does when they give lessons. Pick out some bad habits to work on and improve gradually over time with practice. Yeah, that's a good way. I like that analogy. That's a good way of putting it. Poopot, Kirk, what editing software do you use on your computer, or could you recommend something for an idiot? Yeah, I use CapCut Pro. I think it's like 24 quid for the year, but you can use the free version. It's just got a little watermark. The reason I use CapCut is because it was free, and a lot of people were using it on TikTok. So I got it on my phone, and then I got used to using it. So then I just got the laptop, the desktop version of it. Very easy to use, CapCut. And here's another little tip for you. If you're not sure how to do a certain thing, then just go on YouTube and put how do you do said thing on CapCut, and there's loads of videos on how to do anything you want. That's how I learned. I've literally just taught myself to use it with YouTube videos and trial and error. One thing I've learned is don't overlay your videos with too much music because it drowns you out and people can't hear what you're saying. Matt Lawton, with you on the nerd thing. Yes, right. Message restricted. Let's just see. Oliver Stanton. Oliver, sod, checker trade, massive scam. Oliver, just to let you know, mate, if you put swear words, like especially the F word and stuff, YouTube cover the comments so people can't see it. So I've seen it, but just giving you the heads up, mate. If you want me to read your comment, try not to put swear words in, mate. Or just put like a little apostrophe or something where do you know what I mean? When you write the F word and you put a flipping special character in the middle of it, just do that, mate. And then I'll be able to see your comment easier. Liam's Lacoste. What's your thoughts on employers not paying their spreads? Smash them with a hammer. Chris, I wouldn't even use checker trade for a simple reason. If you have to quote on them and aren't generating work through your work, Must not be too good. Yeah, but it's all as well. You got to take into account, Chris, if nobody's ever heard of you. You know, guys that have come off building sites or just come out the time and they haven't got a reputation yet, then they could potentially have to use these sort of sites to get to generate some sort of workflow whilst they're trying to build a reputation. This is the point I'm trying to say, though. The flip side of that is, as you're building your reputation, all of your reviews, because everything's online these days, are all held on their site. So it's sort of like you're sort of stuck on there. So I wouldn't go down that trap, because the longer you spend on there, the harder it's going to be to get away from it. Darla's TV, Real Talk Facts. Cheers, mate. Zacros Flow. Sound for that, mate. And genuinely might consider your course thing. I was hoping to build up the company this year. Yeah, no problem, mate. Like I say, it's £1 a day. Comes out monthly, so it's 32 quid for the month or 31 quid for the month. It's probably cheaper than one job on Checkatrade. So, and then you never have to rely on Checkatrade again. Anthony, 1984. Oh, by the way, just so you don't think I'm a scammer, I mean, there's still going to be people saying, he's a rip-off, he's a scammer. But just so you understand, in that course, I also don't just do the sales and marketing. I show you sales advice. So how to be a good salesman, what to say, how to price jobs, what to say when you meet the customer, all that sort of stuff. Techniques that you can use, sales techniques. Now, it's not tricking customers into buying. It's just showing you how to put your best foot forward, what not to say, because the last thing you want to go and do is go and say something that offends your customer, or, you know, for instance, disagreeing with a customer puts them off you a little bit. All that sort of stuff, you know, and the way you handle customers, how fast you respond to them and all that sort of thing. You know, there's certain do's and don'ts. Texting customers back at midnight and stuff like that, you know, it's a no-go. All these techniques are in there. Now, if I put all that just on the internet for free, then you'd get all the nosy buggers looking in there, wouldn't you? You know, anyone that just wants to have a little look, potential customers of mine looking in there. So I don't just want that stuff all over the internet for everyone to see, but I do want it to be affordable for guys that are just starting out. So that's why I thought £1 a day. It's not really that expensive, is it? You know, 30 quid. It's basically the cost of a packet of fags and 2 pints. So I thought that was a reasonable amount, and it just keeps nosy people out. You know, if it was a £5, you'd still get nosy people in there. 30 quid, the nosy ones, the trolls, they don't really want to spend 30 quid, whereas anyone genuine, it's affordable, but it's not a rip-off. So I hope that clears that up. Anthony, 1984, talking about older spreads, my uncle's mate is 85 this year, still grafting away and loving it. Retired 10 years ago, was back at it after 6 weeks. Yeah, there's only so much listening to that in the house that you can put up with. I must admit, I've basically been lay down for about a month after coming out of hospital, or being in hospital and then coming out. And I'm basically sick of it now. I just want to do stuff. That's why I'm in here, just pottering around, doing little bits. I just want to get working now. The only thing now is I just feel knackered all the time. Sean O'Connell, spot on, Kirk, with what you say about all these sites. As you say, there's plenty of other ways to generate work. Yes, mate. Thanks, Sean. Thank you. Zarkos Flow. Constellation, I learned from my uncle down south for 7 years, but met the missus and moved up Midlands, so it's more of a building up the company type reason for Checkatrade for me. There you go, that's the reason he's on it. Anthony Broom, no problem, mate, thanks a lot. Arts and Cars, have a good evening, and you, mate. What time is it? 8 o'clock. Invictus, I don't know my Roman numerals. I did, but I forgot, so I don't know what number that is. I'm an American, and I go to and from North Ireland to work with my wife's father. It was a shock seeing how houses are built so differently. Yes, mate, I know. We build ours out of bricks and stuff, don't we? Kane Jake. Have you asked Roger Bisbee to help finish the bathroom? No. Do you know what? I'm one of them guys. Do you know what? He probably would. The fellas, a lot of people give Roger a bit of stick, right? And I understand that he comes across a little bit sort of arrogant on his videos. But in real life, he's a lovely fella. And he's sharp, you know. He's in his 70s, Rog. And he's on the ball. So I met Roger because he messaged me and said, did I want to do it? He always gets loads of, oh, something happened and I glitched out. Roger messaged me and said, do I want to do a plastering video? He always gets loads of people giving him stick on his plastering. So he wanted me to teach him, like do a day's plastering with him. So he come and did a bit. And then since then, we've done loads of little things. And I like the fella. I mean, I don't really watch any videos. I've watched a couple of his videos just to see who he is and what he's about. But I don't really watch construction videos because I personally am, you know, I do it all day. I make my own videos. The last thing I want to do is start watching other people's videos on it. So I watch all sorts of different stuff on YouTube. You know, I'm watching like guys in 4x4s in Russia and, you know, Bald and Bankrupt and things like that. So I don't really watch much of Roger, but I know a lot of people aren't fussed on him. I know if I asked him, I know if I phoned him now and said, Roger, do you fancy coming and do my bathroom and make a video? I know he'd say yeah. But I don't like putting on people. I'll do it myself. I'm looking forward to doing it myself because I've got ideas of exactly how I want it. And if there's any problems, I know it's down to me. There won't. It'd be perfect. But I don't want someone else doing something and then having a problem because in the back of my mind, I'll be blaming them. So, Craig Marshall, evening Kirk. Just subscribed last week as I'm a first-time buyer at 47. Bought a 200-year-old house. And this weekend had a partial collapse of the basement kitchen ceiling. Would you be able to take a look? Flipping heck, mate. The basement. Partial collapse of the basement. Yeah, okay. If the floors fell through, that's not really my field, you know. If you might need a builder to sort of fix that up. But the ceilings, yeah, not a problem. I can't promise you I'll be able to do the job, but I'll certainly be able to advise you. And if you're close enough, and if it's an interesting job and can potentially sort something out, I'll come and do it for you. My email address is in the channel description. So just go to the channel description, email in there, just ping me a few pictures and all your details over, mate, and we'll have a chat. Poo Pot, brilliant. Cheers, Kirk. Pleasure, mate. Pleasure. Sean O'Donnell, I was waiting for the first person to mention the dreaded bathroom. Yeah, do us a favour. I'm going to start putting in the description. Don't mention the bathroom. I'll tell you when it's done. Don't start asking me because it gets on. I feel like it's like my missus pecking me. It gives me anxiety thinking about it. So when I've done it, I'll let you know. All right. Poo Pot. Asterix, naughty words, yeah. Chris, wanted to send you a picture of you on my live on the TV in the media wall. You inadvertently helped me. Don't know how to. Again, if you want to send me any pictures, mate, channel description, just ping them to my email address that's in there. D-Star Legend, cheers, mate, thank you. Glenn Fraser, I have a bag of multi-finish a month out of date. Do I use it or take it the tip? Mate, it's a tenner. I personally, well, I probably would use it because I don't like throwing stuff away. But if you're just getting started, then I'll probably, for the sake of a tenner, just skip it and buy a new one. Poo Pot, effing hell. There you go. He's just testing it works. Adams, how do I sign up for your course, mate? I think it's in the channel description. I'm sure it's in my channel description, mate. Go and have a look there. If it's not there, if it's not in my channel description, then my email address is send me an email and just put on it, I want to join the course, and I'll send you the link for it. But I'm sure it's in the channel description. Okay. RLJB. Hello, Kirk. Hope you had a brilliant Christmas and New Year's. Wishing you all the best for the new year. Cheers, mate. You're a gentleman. Adam369. You don't have to explain yourself, mate. People can see you're genuine. But mate, you wouldn't believe the troll comments I get. So I don't mind the trolls. They're good for the algorithm, and you're always going to get them. If you're in the public domain, you're going to get people giving you crap. But for anybody that doesn't really know me, that's maybe watched one video and then reads a few troll comments before they pass judgments, I always try and get something out there just so people understand. But I appreciate what you're saying, mate. Thank you. Oh, Mary, AJ. Hi, Kirk. Does two 60-watt light bulbs on affect multi-finish going off quick? My first coat sealing was dry in 15 mins. I did mix it too thick and added more water 2 or 3 minutes later to thin it down. Okay, so a few things. Remixing it causes it to set a little bit faster. So that might have been your issue. If you've used PVA as a sealer, that could potentially be your issue, because what can happen is if the first coat is the whole, so if you've got a light bulb right next to where you're working, it usually dries that area out a little bit quicker, okay? But it wouldn't do the whole sealing. So I'd say more a higher chance that remixing it is setting it off. Or it could be that the sealer, if you've used PVA, that it's the background suction has took the moisture out of the plaster. So that could be a situation as well where it's not sealed enough. So I always use SPR. Personally, I use SPR. And if you're a beginner, leave it overnight. SPR it the day before, skim it the next day. SPR is fine to skim over as soon as it goes tacky, but for best results to completely kill the suction altogether, leave it for about 6 hours. And then, you'll have all the time in the world. Deca 39. Maybe take you a double the time to get better than it took to get sick. Yeah. Sean O'Donnell. I love Roger's Skill Build channel. He's proper genuine old school builder. He's a good guy, mate. He's sound. The only thing I hold against him, Roger, is he's a bloody cyclist. They drive me nuts. I've got a thing for cyclists now. The amount of experiences. So my missus keeps horses, and where we have to go down quite a few miles of country lane. And I don't know if it's a certain bike club or if it's a certain same team of cyclists, but on the weekend, I always seem to come into their flipping world on the country lanes. And what these guys do, there's about 30 of them, and they go 3 deep, and they're like 10 long, but they're like 3 aside, 3 abreast. Now I understand that to pass them, you want to sort of treat them like passing a car, but when they're like 10 long, it's like trying to overtake an Arctic. So I end up stuck behind them doing like 10 miles an hour for miles and miles on country lanes, and it literally drives me mad, because I just think, we're on a nice big straight here. I could overtake you, but I don't want to have to start, going horrendous speeds because you're so long. You could just sort of make it into little blocks so you can maybe get in and go around. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. They just seem to drive me nuts. So it's the only thing I hold against Roger, flipping on his push iron. Craig Marshall, cheers, Kurt. Much appreciated that. It's the plasterboard ceiling that's collapsed, but it's an interesting house. I've been finding out. I'm based in Huddersfield, if that's within your scope. That's a bit of a drive, mate, to be honest with you. Bit of a drive. Send me the pictures anyway. Let's have a chat, and then we'll see. I don't want to make any promises, mate, because I don't want to disappoint you, because it is a flipping fine old drive just to come and do a ceiling, What I have to do is, you got to bear in mind, I have to make interesting content. So it's no good me driving all the way to Huddersfield to do a job for you, to make a video, if it's already a video that has been made like 7 times. If the audience have already seen 7 of that type of video, they don't really need to see an 8th. It's not the click-through rate. People want to watch it drops off. So Let's have a look anyway. We'll see. LL Trebor LL. Okay. Hello, handsome. How are you doing, gorgeous? You okay? Anthony, 1984. Have you tried the pure finish yet, Kirk? I'm in County Armagh. Amga. I don't know how to say. It's an Irish word, that, isn't it? There's a new builder's yard open close by. They've got 2 promotional pallets to get some feedback on it. Beautiful stuff to use. Yes, mate. I've had a little go of it. I do quite like it. I just like the price of it. And nowhere stocks it near me, so it's a bit of a pain. Artisan cars. Kirk, you're a good guy. I have respect for you. Thank you, mate. I say thank you. When people give me compliments, I say thank you. I'm not very good at taking compliments. It makes me feel a little bit awkward, a little bit uneasy. I don't really, I don't take it very well. So when I just say thank you and brush it off, don't think that I'm just like, sort of being like, oh, flippant with it. I do genuinely appreciate it in here. I'm just not very good at like sort of showing it. So I do appreciate you saying that, mate. Thank you very much. Chris, I got that pint on plaster, put it on the wall, then scraped it off with a derby. It was so bad. I got the paint on plaster. I'm with you. Lukey, all the best, Kirk. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Anthony Broom. Is there a lot of work for line work? I would say yes, but be prepared to travel. Or be in an area where there's a lot of old buildings, Your average sort of lime plaster building from the 1930s or 40s that's been like an ex-council house or whatever, the people that are in there now aren't going to be too bothered. They don't care, because you'll price it to lime plaster it, which is what it should be, but the next plasterer down the road, he'll come along and price them to just skim over it in multi-finish, and he'll be half the cost, and you'll lose the work. So those sorts of situations, no. But if you're working sort of where people have got like, old cottages, sandstone cottages, that sort of stuff, then yeah. So I don't know where you're based. If you're prepared to travel, then yeah, there's plenty of work to do it. But you've just got to get yourself out there and make sure you're seen, on the internet. O'Mary AJ, cheers for the advice, Kirk. No PVA, mate. I plastered straight onto plasterboard, Kirk. Overboard Artex. Use clean water. I'm guessing knocking it back up was the issue. Overmixing was the issue. Okay, yes, there is another factor that you could potentially work in. If the boards are old, if the plasterboards have been stored for a while, or they've been on the ceiling for longer than a month. If a plasterboard has been up for longer than a month, I would seal it before I skimmed it. There seems to be some sort of vapor barrier on the plasterboards that evaporates over time, so they sort of lose their low suction. They start to be like if you go to a loft conversion. If someone says to me, "Oh, I've boarded my loft conversion now, can you come and skim it?" Yeah, no problem. I'll take a look. When did you board it? 2003. That is going to be like the minute you put the plaster on, one trial's worth on the ceiling, it's going to dry in instantly and just fall off because they've been up there so long. So you'd have to seal the whole thing. So that's another thing that potentially could be me if the boards were old. But if they're not, if they're new boards, then yeah, you're over mixing it or you're remixing it could be the key. Didn't realise adding water 2 or 3 minutes later would have that much of an effect. Hell's bells, yeah. Chris Norman. The videos are coming, Chris. The videos are coming. Stanley John. Any more working trips abroad? Last one was great content. There's a few things. There's a few people that I was speaking to towards the end of last year. But I'm one of them, mate. If they don't, I'll be honest with you. I get that much work coming to me. And then obviously I sort of do the YouTube stuff. I don't really need the work. So it sounds big-headed, and I'm not being big-headed. I get overwhelmed with job requests, and if somebody doesn't pursue me, then it just goes dead, because I don't pursue them, because I just, I don't need to sort of chase the work, if that makes sense, which is a very nice position to be in. But ultimately, sometimes jobs just slip through the net, because if they don't message me and follow up with me, then chances are the job won't get done, So there's a few things that was mentioned sort of towards the end of last year, but I haven't heard of them since, and I'm not going to go scrolling down 5 million emails to find the last email to get back to them. So Stanley John, oh yeah, we just read your comment, sorry mate. Craig Marshall, 79, watching, only 44 likes, get the bathroom button smashed. Yeah. David Smith, what sort of jobs are you looking to do, mate, to make original content? Okay, stuff that I need to do. I want to do a lot of running in situ, plaster moulding. We need to do some floating, some sand and cement work, internal and external sand and cement jobs. We need to do some pebble dash jobs. I think a few more patching jobs would be good. Some lime work, some marble plastering. Those sorts of things are what I'd like to make content on. It's just getting the jobs to do it. One of the things that I am planning on doing this year, just to get some internal sand and cement work, is there's a lovely fella. If any of you guys are on Facebook, there's a group called Trial Talk, okay? And the fella that runs that is a guy called Stuart Roberts. He's also got a YouTube channel called Trial Talk. Lovely fella, absolutely lovely bloke. When I first started my YouTube channel, he was giving me loads of hints and tips on microphones and all sorts of stuff. It's a good guy. He's got a Facebook group, Trial Talk, and they organise once a year a trip to Edinburgh for everyone in the group. If you want to go, you just turn up, sort your own hotel, and everyone just gets on the beer for 2 days. They're meant to go, well, you can do whatever you want. You can go sightseeing, you can go restaurants, whatever. I'm speaking from experience. Me and a couple of the other guys just got on the beer for 2 days. Now, I originally wasn't going to go, but the fella that makes this stuff, the fella that makes that, Mark Shepherd, he's a friend of mine. Well, he was. He probably isn't no more, because he sent me loads of messages since I've been ill and I haven't got back to him. So he probably hates me by now because I haven't returned none of his messages. He'll understand. He's a lovely guy. Mark Shepherd, he messaged me. I wasn't going to bother going to Edinburgh, and he paid for me hotel room, and he went as well. So I ended up there. What was I saying to you then? What was the question? I can't even think. That's where I was going. So here we go. I've come back. Right. So I ended up going to Edinburgh with this guy, Mark Shepherd, who makes this, through Stuart Roberts, through his group. Ended up there, having a load of beers, and whilst I was there, I met an absolutely fantastic fella called Mark Neeson. Okay. And he's from Ireland, and all they do is float and set internal sand and cement work. So I've got plans this year. Mark doesn't know this yet. He knows I want to go and see him, and he knows I want to go and work with him for a week or so. I'm going to pop over for a week. I want to come and do some work with you. And I think he's just took it off the cuff. Now, I met him in Edinburgh, and since then I've messaged him a couple of times. I said, Mark, I'm coming to Ireland. I want to come and do some sand and cement work with you, because I want to make some videos. It's a good opportunity to get in some new build houses where we can just sand and cement the walls. He doesn't know this yet, but I don't need paying for it. So he's probably thinking, how much have I got to pay this fella to come and do it? He's probably thinking, I've said, yeah, flipping out, how much is he going to cost? He better work hard. But what he doesn't know is I don't want any money for it. I'm just going to jump in. I want to go there, have a laugh with them, give them a hand, make a video, go for a few pints, have a curry, and then come home again. See if I can, help them on it, give them a push on a few different jobs. So that's the plan. That's what I'm going to be doing. So hopefully I'll be able to make a few more different videos, but it's just getting the time to do it. Because every time I have a day off, I could be in Ireland, My missus has got 100 things that she wants me to do. Not just the bathroom, literally 100 things. We've got stuff at the farm that she wants me to do, where we keep the horses. There's like stable doors that need things doing. There's this that wants to. There's flipping that much stuff to do. I need another husband in the house with me just to get through all the flipping jobs that need to get done. Anthony Brown, thanks, mate. Top man. Anthony, 1984, 820 a bag on promotion. I lifted 35 bags into the van. They were say it's up to £15 a bag in parts of England, Wales. Try more like £20+ a bag, mate. To be fair, £20+ a bag. You can expect to pay that pure finish in the likes of Travis Perkins. But then again, see, I got one bag. I didn't want a pallet of it. I just wanted one bag to see what it was like. So, Voltarius, hello, mate. Do you have any kids? And if so, how do you find time to have your time and work on projects? Yeah, here's the thing, right? So I have got kids. I've got 4. I've got 3 daughters and a little baby son. Eldest daughter's 21. Then we've got a 16. Then we've got a 13. Then we've got a 2-year-old. The work-life balance is a myth. That's it. It's a myth. You're either focusing on one and the other one's suffering, or you're focusing on the other and the other one's suffering. Anyone that tells you get the balance, right? I've tried for 20 years to get the balance. I don't think it exists, because you're doing one thing and the other thing's falling behind. So you do that thing and that thing falls behind. That's how I do it. Right? I just put my energy there and that suffers, and I put my energy there and that suffers. And once that's falling behind too far, I go back the other way and do that. And then once I'm getting an earache off the missus, I go, that's just how I do it, mate. I do stick to a thing. I do a thing called Core 4, where I have my little notebook and I focus on the 4 different areas of life. So mind, make sure I take enough of me time to do a bit of reading, bit of chilling out, bit of meditating, bit of walking in nature, whatever, to keep your mind clear. Body, keep your exercising, make sure you're sort of keeping yourself in good shape. Granted, if you watch some of my videos, I'm a big fat because I've hurt my knee and I haven't trained for like 2 years, but I'm starting to lose a bit of weight now. But I should be concentrating more on the body, maybe doing some more swimming. And then you've got relationships. Try and focus on them. This Core 4, I try and do something for each one every day. Okay, so what you do is you just get your page and you write down a couple of things for each one every day and then tick them off as you do them. So if you mind, go for a little walk, read a couple of pages of a book, put your book next to the toilet so you can just read it whilst you're in the toilet, multitask, yeah. Body, do a bit of exercise, go and do it, an hour in the gym or whatever. Relationships, make sure to send a text message at least to my mum, my dad, my missus, have a little chat to her, make sure to have a conversation with each kid every single day. Every kid needs at least a 5-minute conversation, ask them how they're getting on. Or take a kid out for a meal. I can't do all my kids at once. I'm probably autistic. I can only deal with one person at a time. So I'll take the missus for the meal. I'll take one daughter for the meal. I'll take the other daughter for the meal. I'll take the little fella of the park. That's how I do it. And then the last one is production. Being productive, making sure I get me customers responded to, make sure I edit a video, spend a bit of time editing, make sure checking with the guys that do the SPR, make sure that's okay, checking with some guys in the coaching group, make sure that's all on point and everyone's okay in there, and then that's basically it. But I don't think there's a balance, mate. I genuinely don't think there's a balance. I always feel like something hasn't been fulfilled fully, Max Rogers, love your videos, gave me a basic knowledge in plastering, also a true gentleman. Happy New Year. Cheers, Max. Thank you very much, mate. Chris, I've got an old council shed brick I want to turn into my eldest's room. Yeah, fair dues. 25 mins away too. Yeah, let's go. Did you just log off for a second then when talking about doing standard cement work? No, sometimes the signal just drops off. So when the signal, I don't know why, I'm not plugged directly in, it's on the Wi-Fi, so it drops off sometimes. Craig Marshall, the partial collapse is at the gable end of the house. I want the render off and lime rendered. Does that sweeten the travel? Yes, that makes it sound a bit better. That sounds quite good, to be fair. Anthony 1984, Mark Neeson literally commented on one of my Facebook reels the other day. I'm assuming it's the same guy. Yeah, looks about, I don't want to do him an injustice, I'd say he looks around about 55-ish, sort of a shorter, stocky looking guy with a full head of hair. I mean, there's not going to be many Mark Neesons around. Hopefully he left you a nice comment as me singing his praises. I hope he hasn't given you any stick. I'm sure he hasn't, because from what I met of him and what I've spoke to him, he seems like a proper stand-up, nice, old-school gentleman, you know, with not a bad word to say about anybody. So I hope everything's been good between you. And Artisan Cars, what happened to your knee? Jiu-jitsu, BJJ. Shooting in, bit of a manoeuvre, and with my brother-in-law, and managed to snap the ACL and tear the meniscus. I think that is your cartilage. I don't know. I'm sure that's your cartilage, and I don't know why it's got two names, but if it's not, then it's not the cartilage. It's on the medical thing. It says meniscus tear, ACL tear. So. Anthony, 1984, yeah, definitely the same Mark. Seems a great fella. Yeah, he left a lovely comment. Yeah, that's got to be him. It's got to be him. Craig Marshall, is Gordon Ryan the GOAT? I don't know who Gordon Ryan is, mate, to be fair. You'll have to tell me who he is and of what, and I'll check him out. Arts and Cars, I have a joint condition that means I dislocate easily. Flipping heck. Sorry to hear that, mate. But on the plus side, if you ever ended up in a straight jacket, you'd probably be able to get out of it. Right, look at that. I've caught up with all the comments. How fast was that? Oh, right, gang. Oh, I'm going to go in now and have a black coffee, because apparently I'm allowed to have them on my carnivore diet. Craig Marshall, Gordon Ryan is an American submission wrestler and third-degree Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Fair play. I didn't really get time to get fully into the BJJ. You know, I've seen a few things. I listen to Joe Rogan from time to time. I like his style of speaking. He's quite easy to listen to, you know. He's quite an interesting guy. And it was him that planted the seed about the BJJ. And then I went. I'm sort of quite an impulsive guy. If I get something in my mind, I just go and do it. So I went, and I was there for about a month or 2 months. I can't remember now. A couple of sessions. Got my brother-in-law along, and then that was it. And then I stopped because obviously the injury. So I didn't really get a chance to start delving into the intricacies of it. I was still learning the very, very, very basics, you know. There's like literally, I couldn't tell you how to do anything, any move at all. I can't do none of them. I just learned a few little principles. That was about it, you know, and it was more the fitness. So, Arts and Cars, have a good night. Take it easy, mate. Take it easy. Nice chatting to you. King G, go for a swim. Yeah, good shout. Chris, have a good night, mate. Thanks for the live. That was a pleasure, mate. Craig Marshall, YouTube him, his boss. I will do, mate. I'm going to have a look at these comments when I'm finished, and I'll pull him up. Anthony 1984. Have a great new year, everyone. Have a good one, Kirk. Love the videos, mate. What is it of all plasterers watching plasterers? I don't know. I used to watch Kirk G. O'Donnell, the original Kirk on YouTube back in the day. Craig Marshall, enjoy the black coffee. I'll be in touch about this 200-year-old sack. Whenever you're ready, mate, let's have a look at it. Anthony Broom, thanks. Gentlemen, it's been emotional. Take it easy, guys. Good night, God bless. do we end this live now? I'm saying good night. I don't even know how to turn the flipping thing off. I've done the live on my phone, so I don't know where the off button is. King G, take it easy, mate. Ciao.